A new year with new lawmakers bringing brand new priorities to the Ohio legislature.
So over the next 2 years, they want to take a closer look at Ohio's tax policy, marijuana laws, energy policy, even the Browns' plans to build a new stadium in Brook Park. So we're going to be digging into all of it in the coming days.
But today we are starting with an issue that's close to the heart of so many Ohioans. We're talking about school funding. News 5's Columbus Bureau reporter Morgan Trow explains why some lawmakers want to revisit our state's fair school funding plan.
We have an obligation to take care of all of our students in Ohio.
The vast majority of Ohio students go to public schools. And for a good education, Parma City School Superintendent Charles Smilek says K through 12 needs to be fully funded.
To be able to continue to sustain what we think is really a very valuable education in our Parma City schools.
He says 75% of the school's funding comes from property taxes, while the rest comes from the state. That's thanks to the Cup-Patterson Fair School Funding Plan. It's a 6-year policy that provides support for districts so they can rely less on taxes. The first 4 years of it have already been implemented, leaving just 2 years to go. But under new leadership, that may not happen.
I don't think there is a third phase to Cup-Patterson. Now, as to the expectation that those things are going to go in, I think, I guess the clearest statement I can say is I think those increases in spending are unsustainable.
House Speaker Matt Huffman explains that this year's budget is going to have significantly less money. And for him, public education is on the chopping block.
We have to look at whether these dollars are being spent wisely.
So what happens if the funding plan is decreased or cut entirely?
Where they think we can come up with this money, I'm just not sure, other than again to go to the local taxpayers, and as you indicate, who already feel they're overburdened.
For the past few years, schools around the area have struggled to pass levies. Parma's have failed 4 times. One of the only to succeed last November was Medina City Schools after their 3rd try.
It's not to build any new buildings or facilities. It was simply to maintain what we have in place.
Both Medina Superintendent Aaron Sable and Smilek say that if the funding plans are cut, jobs would be lost, schools would need to downsize, and less courses would be offered. They also believe that this is the lawmakers' plan.
There's been an ongoing effort by some legislators to privatize public education.
Huffman is a champion of the private school voucher system. The state spent roughly $1 billion in public money to send kids to non-public schools. He and other lawmakers claim that spending that much on ed choice is due to poor performing public schools.
To find the best educational environment for their child.
What type of education do you want for the lesser privileged among us?
The funding plan will be decided in the budget, which will be heard in the coming months. At the Ohio State House, I'm Morgan Trow reporting.
Morgan mentioned EdChoice, which offers up to about $6,166 for elementary school students and more than $8,400 for high schoolers. Now, this is open to families in kindergarten through 12th grade, and the amount they receive is based on income. Applications for the next school year open on February 1st. Supporters have said because all families pay taxes to help fund education, they should have all access to some of the money. Critics argue that it takes away resources from public school students and that there's just not enough accountability for the schools receiving the money.